Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and for those of you that are new here, hey, my name is Tina and welcome to my circus. Today's video is going to be a little bit of an interesting one. We're going to go ahead and take a trip down memory lane. I was going through all of my makeup, I was organizing all of it. I have so much freaking makeup that I just didn't know what to do with it, so I finally organized everything. It has its own compartments and all that fun stuff. But as I was going through all of my makeup, I'm realizing, holy crap, there's so much makeup that I have that I haven't touched in a really long time. Things that blew up a year ago that we haven't seen anybody use in a long time. And I thought, how about we just take a little trip down memory lane and do a full face full of products that we've forgotten about. So I've got a bunch of products out here on the table, from brushes to sponges to face products to all that stuff. And we're gonna go ahead and just open up the yearbook from the last year, and we're just gonna put all this stuff on our face, and it's gonna be a fun ride. So if this is something that you're interested in hanging around and seeing, then go ahead and stick around. Before we move on to the video, go ahead and do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down there so you don't miss out on any of my content, because we're fun over here, and why would you not want to stick around? So on that note, we're gonna go ahead and jump right on into the video. Alright, so first things up is that we need to prime the face. I do not have anything on my face as of right now, because we're gonna go from the base all the way to finishing the face. Yes, that rhymed. So the first thing up is going to be this primer right here, which is the No Poreblem Primer by Touch in Soul. I remember this, I think last summer went crazy. Everybody swore by it. They said it was like the best primer on the planet. It filled in your pores. It did all this crazy stuff, and I remember that it was like the thing that everybody used, and I've noticed that nobody uses this anymore. And I don't know why. I don't know if there's better primers out in the market now or what, but we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna use this, and we're gonna go ahead and put it all over the face, and we're gonna rediscover some old favorites. So now that I have it on my face, I do remember this being like quite a silicone-y type of face primer, but it does make the face feel extremely smooth, and it makes everything very comfortable. So I do remember using this, and it does fill in the pores and like all that nice stuff. So first thing, we're gonna do our foundation. First foundation up that took the storm last year. It was like the breakout drugstore foundation of the year. Everybody was using it, and I haven't seen anybody use it in a really long time, which is the Maybelline Matte and Poreless foundation, which is this guy right here. Everybody had this on their face. Everybody was using it. It was like the holy grail. It replaced so many expensive foundations that people were using. And ever since it went crazy, like around last summer again, I haven't seen anybody really use it at all, like tutorials, all that good stuff. So to apply that, I'm going to bring out another product that we haven't seen in a while, which is the Real Techniques sponge. This was like the ultimate dupe for the Beauty Blender. I use the hell out of my Beauty Blender. This thing has just never gone out of style. Yes, it's gross. I really need to clean it. However, I remember this was the thing, everybody swore that this was like the sponge, and this was the sponge to use if you couldn't afford a Beauty Blender. And since then, everybody's kind of gone back to putting on foundation with brushes, or they're using just a straight up Beauty Blender, but I haven't seen as many people use the Real Techniques sponge. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna put this foundation on. Remember why everybody loved it so much. Hopefully this is my right shade right now. It is summer, and your girl has gotten a little bit dark this summer. So for those of you at home that are wondering, this is in the shade Toffee Caramel, shade 330. All right, let's go ahead and take our sponge, and we're gonna go ahead and bounce this out all over the face. Alright, foundation is on, and I do remember that this foundation was actually really pretty, and it was one of the only matte foundations that I could actually use. I have extremely dry skin, but my skin right now looks beautiful. I do remember why I stopped using the Real Techniques sponge. I felt like it soaked up a lot of product. If you look at it, it's just so dirty now. I feel like it sucks up so much product. You know, it's supposed to be like a full coverage foundation, and you know how I can tell by how full coverage something is how much it covers up my face mole. That is my indicator of full coverage foundation. So if it doesn't look like there is a mask over my mole, then it's not that full coverage. So as you can see, mole is full opaque, So I feel like this sucked up a lot of the product, but nonetheless, I think that it just put down like a really, really good layer. I think that it may have applied differently if I would have used a brush or a beauty blender versus the sponge. I do feel like the Real Technique sponge is a little bit more dense than the actual beauty blender. It feels a lot more firm, and I just feel like it's a little bit more porous and sucks up a little bit more product. So next thing up that we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and conceal. The product that I'm going to use for this is a concealer that kind of took the world by storm last year. Haven't seen as many beauty bloggers or beauty gurus or beauty influencers using this product, and for good reason, and I think it's mainly because of controversy surrounding the brand, which is the Tarte Shape Tape. This was everybody's go-to holy grail staple. It was mine at one point until they came out with the Shape Tape foundation, and then shit just hit the fan because their shade range was so uninclusive that people just wrote off Tarte altogether, didn't want to use it anymore, and after that I stopped seeing people use the Tarte Shape Tape. And since then we've had a lot of other brands come up with some amazing different concealer since then, but I have not seen a lot of people use this. I didn't want to use it either after the whole Shape Tape foundation controversy. I told myself that I wasn't going to be using like Tarte products that much anymore, and I kind of threw this in a box and I pulled it out for this. So, you know, just for the sake of the video, I will be using it, but I will not be using it in any other videos. But this is in the shade medium, so we're going to go ahead and take this. We're going to go ahead and conceal under our eyes. Alright, Shape Tape concealer is on. I do remember how brightening this was. This was a really good concealer. It's too bad because it lays down really, really nicely. Definitely full coverage. Definitely has some brightening properties. Alright, next thing to do is to set the face. Everybody's still using the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder just because that is just kind of like the holy grail. I do remember when this came out last winter, it was such a good powder, and I haven't really seen anybody use it since then, and I have a couple of products from his line that I'm using, but it is the MAC X Patrick Starr setting powder. This was such a good powder, and like, I don't know why I haven't been using it. It's very, very finely milled. It's amazing for anybody with like dry skin. So let's go ahead and take some of this. We're gonna go ahead and set our under eyes. That way we don't get any creasing, anything like that. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and let that bake really quick. I'm going to go ahead and off camera do my eyebrows. I don't really have any eyebrow products that I've really gotten out of style. I still use the hell out of the Anastasia Beverly Hills, but I still feel like that's a pretty relevant makeup one. It's, I think, you know, one thing that's not really ever going to go out of style. Anastasia Beverly Hills got their Dipbrow pomade down so well that it's very, very hard to duplicate and or make it better. There's a lot of brands that have tried to make it better, but haven't succeeded, and so it's still a very popular thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my eyebrows really quick, and then I will come back and we will continue on this journey of the forgotten makeups. Alright, eyebrows are on, and I have dusted off the setting powder. Let's continue with the rest of the face. We're gonna go ahead and contour the face, and I'm gonna bring up the holy grail, the staple, the thing that kicked it off, which is the Anastasia Beverly Hills contour kit. I put money on this, that this thing is probably like really old and probably needs to be thrown away, but whatever. I still have it. This is the powder, not the cream one, so I've got this guy right here. We are going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and contour the face, but we're going to do this utilizing some fun brushes that kind of took the world by storm, which were the unicorn brushes from Unicorn Cosmetics. This was like a big thing that like took everything by storm when it first came out. Everybody wanted these unicorn brushes. So we are going to use this to contour the face. We're going to go ahead and dip on into here, and we are going to go ahead and contour. I'm going in with the warmer shade. It's summertime, so you know, we want it to be a little warm. Alright, we are all nice and contoured. I remember when this contour kit first ever came out, like this was the thing to have when Kim Kardashian just swept the whole world with what contouring is now. And Anastasia Beverly Hills was the first one to really capitalize on it and make like their first contour palettes. This is what everybody had in their you know, arsenal before a bunch of other brands started catching on. It's still very good. There's definitely nothing wrong with the formula. It's still a very, very good formula. There are just a lot of other brands that have taken over and made their own. For example, the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette is such a popular palette to use for contouring and bronzing and, you know, highlighting and all of that good stuff. So we were all nice and contoured and highlighted and all the fun stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the eyes. I was really excited about this one. This eyeshadow palette took like the entire like makeup community by storm. People were pissed off about it because they couldn't get it. It was so hyped up and it was such a big deal. And it is this little guy right here. Do you remember the Moschino bear, the Sephora X Moschino bear? This was crazy. I remember when this came out, everybody went wild over it. Jeffree Star, he did a full review on it and everybody's like, I gotta have it. If anything, I need to have the bear. Like, I don't care about anything else in here. I have to have the bear. I have to have the bear. I specifically remember trying to go to Sephora and getting it. All the Sephoras were like, we don't carry it. We don't have it. You couldn't get it online because they wouldn't announce like an actual like release date, and they like released it at like 2 a.m. on a random like Tuesday, and like by the time morning came around, people heard about it and couldn't get their hands on it, and then it just kind of went silent because like Sephora was like, well, we don't know what's going on, but we don't have any palettes in stock. Like some Sephora stores were only getting like 1 or 2 bears in stock, and like it was like the thing heard around the world. The only way that I was able to get my hands on this is because frankly I was part of the group that really wanted it, wanted to get my hands on it, forgot about it, and then maybe like a month or 2 later, this was when like all of like the Fenty foundation, all that stuff came out. I went to Sephora to get shade matched for the Fenty foundation, and I saw this sitting on a shelf and I was like, holy shit, it's the Moschino bear. And I still wanted it. So I picked it up, and literally there was only like 1 or there was only 2 left on the shelf, and it was me and another girl walked up and she was like, oh my god, I can't believe this is in here. And I was like, me either. I feel like if I grab it, somebody's gonna attack me. And nobody attacked us, but we were able to take the bear and discreetly put it in our bag and just walk away. So I was one of the lucky few to get my hands on the Moschino bear. Open this guy up. There is a huge bear mirror on it, but these are all the colors. You can do some neutral, some crazy, some whatevers. We're gonna do a bit of a neutral look today. I do have to go out and run some errands today and not look too crazy, but we all know that sorry, dropping stuff. We all know that I am no stranger to color on this channel, but we're gonna take it back and we're gonna go a little bit neutral today. So I'm gonna go ahead and just pull in my regular everyday brushes, no big deal. Let's go ahead and pop in to this color right here. We're gonna go into the color Mesmerize, which is like this nice kind of like peachy color, and we're gonna go ahead and take that and pop it right on into the crease. I forget how good the shadows in this bear were, and they like blend out really, really well. So let's go ahead and continue on with our look. I'm gonna go ahead and take this color right here, this brown one. It's called Bound Brown. I'm gonna go ahead and take that on a nice little brush. We're gonna just, you know, tuck that in to the outer corner. We're just gonna go for a nice little neutral, little simple look today. Nothing too crazy, no cut creases, none of that. I'm also going to take a little bit of that brown too, and I'm going to go ahead and just sweep it right under the lashes down on the bottom of the lid. Alright, next, what do we want to use? I want to use a shimmer. Let's use this color Angel Wings right here. It's like this very like pinkish champagne kind of color. I'm going to go ahead and take this. I'm going to go ahead and pat it on the inner corner / lid area right here. All right, next we're gonna go ahead and line the eyes. I don't really have any eyeliner that I think is just like a throwback type of thing. The only one that I could think of is like that MAC roller wheel, but like I never bought it and like have no interest in buying it because it just looked extremely difficult to use. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and line my eyes with the Pretty Vulgar Paint Pot in the color Black. It's just like the ink. So it's a very, very good eyeliner. It's my favorite one. I use it every single day. I've been using it for well over a year now, and it's my favorite. So I'm gonna go ahead and line my eyes really quick, and then we'll come back. All right, eyeliner is on. I was going to use the Lash Paradise mascara because that was like a big holy grail, but the one that I found was like really gross and like grody and should have been thrown out like 6 months ago, so we are not gonna use that. But in memoriam, that was a mascara product that we've forgotten about. So the mascara that I'm going to be using this time is actually a new product. That's something that kind of blew up for a little bit and then I haven't heard anything about it since, which is the Milk Makeup Kush mascara. I love this stuff. This is probably one of the best mascaras I've used this far. It was a little bit like weirdly controversial because it actually has CBD oil infused into the mascara, which is why it's called Kush mascara. And it was very heavily marketed towards like that stoner-esque kind of group, so it was very like all the stuff that it comes in, it's like Kush and lit and like all that stuff that has to do with like kind of being a stoner essentially. But I feel like it swept the world for like a little bit and then it kind of went quiet. Like I haven't really seen anybody really use it since. So this is on the fast track to becoming one of the forgotten products that you don't really see people use anymore. However, I think that it's one of the best products right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and mascara my eyes and we're gonna go ahead and use this. Alright, mascara is on. Let's go ahead and continue on and finish this face. Right now what I want to do is do my highlight. This was easily like my favorite like highlighting palette forever. I wish that Anastasia Beverly Hills remade this and they didn't, and it looks so grody. It is the Nicole Guerriero highlighting palette. If I open this up, y'all, like this thing has been used to filth. Like I have hit pan and things are ran out and all that good stuff. It is just falling apart and I wish that they would remake this. This was such a good highlighting palette. It was so good. So we're gonna go ahead and go in with this one. I'm gonna go ahead and go in with my Morphe R36 brush to go in and highlight. I'm actually gonna go in, ooh, hello. I'm gonna go into the color Forever Young here, which is kind of like a champagne-y, kind of a silver color. So that's what we're gonna use to highlight our face today. And it's still blinding. There you go. It's still ever so blinding. It still looks just sickening on the face. I really wish that they would remake this palette. It was such a good one and it was such a favorite of so many. And like some of these like actually like broke out for me. Like I can't use them like ever again because like they're gone. Like this white and like blue-ish one was like such a pretty highlighter. Ugh, I'm so sad. And then 143 was a really good one too. But you know, you gotta deal with the cards you're given. So anyway, let's go ahead and finish up this look. We're gonna go ahead and put on our lips. The two items that I'm gonna be using today are from MAC. The first thing is going to be the MAC, it's just the original Russian red lipstick color. Everybody had this in their, you know, their staple. It was a staple red. When you want to think of that true red lipstick, you think of MAC Russian red. Don't really see too many people use this now that they've done all these different like Ruby Woos and Riri Woos and Patrick Woos and Your Mama Woo and all these other things. Like it's just like craziness woo. So we're gonna go ahead and do this. We're gonna have a red lip today. So let's go ahead and apply this guy. So it is still very much a true red color. The part that I'm excited about, one that was really forgotten, was again part of the Patrick Starr X Matte collection, which is his Patrick Woo lip gloss. So we're gonna go ahead and top this baby on top of it, which is this beautiful, beautiful, stunning red lip gloss. We're gonna go ahead and throw it on top of the Russian red. And there she is. There's that classic glossy red lip. I forgot how much I love like a glossy red lip. It's beautiful. I'm here for it. It's just such a good color. It's just that sexy, like just kind of badass chick that walks into the bar with her shiny ass red lipstick. I love it. I love it. Anyway, let's go ahead and set the face. I don't really have like an old setting spray. I do still use the Morphe setting spray, which is amazing. It is my favorite. So we're gonna go ahead and set the face with this. Alright guys, this is the full face of all of the things that we have forgotten about in the last year. And I remember that I still love a bunch of these things. This foundation, still good, still very good, and it's a drugstore foundation, so still recommend getting that. Shape Tape is still good, but you know, Tarte is trash and I ain't using their stuff until they learn how to be inclusive without people telling them that they need to be inclusive. The glossy red lip, I'm like in love with this. I can't wait for the holidays to come back around because your girl's gonna have a glossy red lip all through Christmas. There's just so many good things that like we've forgotten about. I feel like the makeup industry is churning out so many things and it's so hard to keep up, and it's like every month, every other week it's a new product, and it's like if you're not using the setting powder, if you're not using this eyeshadow palette, if you're not wearing this lipstick, like you are not in the know and you're not in this, and it's such an expensive thing to keep up with. And I just feel like there are so many good things that have come out in the last year that are still amazing products, and I say it all the time, like who cares like what's trendy right now? At the end of the day, whether I use a $150 Natasha Denona palette or a $10, you know, NYX palette, who knows what's on your face once it's on your face? It's not like you can like look at your face and just be like, oh, I know that you're using a NYX palette instead of a Natasha Denona. Like nobody knows what's on your face once it's actually on there. Like it all depends on the artistry. You can make a $10 palette look just as good as a $50 palette. Just because, you know, this red gloss was like popular last winter, oh, but like another brand made a different red gloss, but we have to get the red gloss because that's what's in, is that brand right now. I think it's a little bit ridiculous. So anyways, hopefully this was cool for you. Hopefully you remembered some of these like products and we got to take a little trip down memory lane and, you know, really remember some of these cool things that have come out in the last year. Hopefully this was cool for you guys and I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Otherwise, I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye guys!